Does he have it?
Medeiros is going to get it.
Oh, they're going to toss it. They haven't got it.
He's on the outside line though, going into the fastest corner on the circuit. Surely this can't work.
Dominic Ligner has got a sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly. Miller's still start trouble. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden Miller's back in play.
Can Barry do it? Big Barry's going to do it. Big Barry.
Go.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Tanso Racing Group, the media day, the first Sunday of the season in what is shaping up to be a really good season ahead. We've got some great racing to look forward to here on Laguna, Seca. I'm in the booth today with Dean Biggles. Dean, how's it going?
Absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much. It's going to be great here to start the season off. Round one, classic track. Classic cars, and welcome everybody out there in the chat. We see you out there, Phil. We see you unnamed. I also saw who was that? Who was going up? Scrolling up the list a little bit. Stewie out there, Marnix as well. Hope you're enjoying your action-packed Sunday full of racing entertainment, of course, with the Formula One earlier. We've got the IndyCar as well, but you've also got plenty of racing here on the JP Broadcasting Network. So yeah, what about this track, my friend? How do you like it as a driver?
So, this track is brilliant. It's a track that is slightly wider than others, so it shapes up for some really good overtaking moves. And just recently, I was watching and covering the Thursday practice session with these guys, getting ready because they had a little practice media day session as well, like they normally have on Thursdays. And watching that, we saw probably one of the greatest racing battles I've seen in a long time. We had about 5 to 6 cars in a close pack going around some of these corners, 4 cars wide. So it's fantastic to see on Thursday. Some really tight racing. It's going to be very interesting. There are a lot of slip-ups that can happen, though. There's a lot of corners where if you're slightly off the camber, it's not going to end well for you, unfortunately. So there's definitely a lot to look out for. You've got to stay on the ball, because even though this track is wider, a lot of drivers may be sort of not worrying as much, because it's not like your Brands Hatch, for example, or your Alton Park, where it's a bit more narrow and it's not as easy to overtake. So this is where some drivers may relax, and maybe too relaxed around the track, and cause some accidents in off-camber corners, or going for some silly moves when they think they've got the space when they really don't. So yeah, this is definitely going to hold some surprises, I think, today. Looking at some of the information, though, today we have a temperature of 20 degrees Celsius there. Not too hot, not too cold. It's definitely hotter than where I am right now, but not too bad conditions at all, really. Partly cloudy, track temp of 24 degrees, so it's slightly on the cooler side compared to Thursday. So that's another factor to add into it. You're looking down the grid. We always have close times in this season with these drivers, and there's a few new names around here as well. So there's a lot to look forward to, and I have to admit, Dean, if you had seen that Thursday, you would be blown away by some of the racing we saw from these guys. There was only 12 cars on track, but my God, half the grid was all together in several corners.
Some really good racing. Any particular drivers to look out for? Because you see, to say the ones that get out there and put the practice in there, usually the ones that come through with the goodies of the results at the end. Is there anybody particular to look out for, do you think?
Yeah. Well, after Thursday, watching it, Mark Brown obviously had the pace, had very good pace. I'm just trying to find the name. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but there were 2 other drivers that were giving Mark Brown a big run for his money on Thursday, and that's fantastic to see, but I can't see any names that jump out to me. Obviously, Aaron Kirby, we know from last season, has good pace, so I'll be looking forward to seeing him get some pace on this track today. But yeah, Mark Brown obviously having the strength around this track so far, with Dan Wareham obviously very close behind. Neil Rocks was one of them, sorry. So who we're on board with at the minute, Neil Rocks was one of the people giving Mark Brown a run for his money big time on Thursday. There was another gentleman that I don't know the name of off the top of my head, but if I see it, I will definitely point them out. But these two, Neil Rocks and Mark Brown, and the other person, they were all really close together, and there was some great battling between them. A couple of little you know, bumping and kissing between the doors, but it was fantastic this Thursday. It just went. So really, if that's anything to go by, it's just going to shape up to be a fantastic race. But whether Mark Brown can pull off like he did on Thursday, he pulled off a double win, believe it or not, Dean, on Thursday. The first race he went from P1 to P1, and the second race he went from back of the grid to P1. So can he pull that off today? I'm not too sure. The grid's obviously a lot bigger, so we'll see what happens. But Mark Brown obviously being your man to look out for with the pace today.
I love it. So last the first challenges that are out there. In the chat there, yes, my name is Dean, but I go by Biggles obviously a lot. You might hear a bit of thunder. And no, that's not the weather in the iRacing game. Unfortunately, you won't have that. But there is a thunderstorm that's cracking outside where I am at the moment. So bear with me. If you do hear a big cracker, yeah, lightning or something like that, don't get out of your chair. Nothing to be alarmed. It's just in my neck of the woods. It's getting into the rainy season. Well, at the top of the timesheets at the moment for our practice session, that should be ending in about 2 minutes and change, is Mr. Brown. The legend of 43 Racing. Legend 43 Racing? So does that mean he's 43, do you think?
I think that was the Ken Block tribute.
Oh, okay.
That's the one. I think that's what it is, yes.
Excellent. Loving these liveries. You're going to get to see through them, hopefully, throughout a qualifying race. We should have about 26 to 27 drivers. Just a couple of drivers haven't put times in yet. That's the reason why they're not appearing on the timing tower. But they are out on track, for example, like this man, Carl.
Oh.
It was a little off-track moment.
Yeah, there were some nice liveries Thursday, so it'd be very nice to look at some of these today, because there's a lot more, like I say, there's a lot more cars on track, because today is full points, after all. It's not like the normal Thursday sessions that we used to cover. We aren't this season. They're not going to be on the JPV channel this season, but we are now into the serious stuff. We're on for points. All these drivers are obviously going to be going out trying to get the maximum points that they can. So it's, yeah, there's going to be a lot on the line. I think we might see a bit more pushing during this session as well, just because of the points that are on the board, really. I mean, I don't like to make any early predictions because I've already had quite a lot of commentators' curses already when it comes to guessing where people are going to finish and guessing how many points they're going to get per race. But it's definitely going to be interesting to see who's fighting up there after the first few sessions. But with this being media day, they're going to be fighting for these positions for points. They're not going to count towards the rest of the season, I believe, but they're going to still be aiming for it like it's the first championship round. So I think we're going to have some tense fighting, especially between the top 3-4 runners, because there's some quick boys up there, as you can see. Mark Brown, Wareham and Rocks all at the top there, all within close vicinity of each other time-wise, and fluidity as well. So it's going to be it's going to be fun to watch these guys throughout the season.
That's what you have the fun of the media day to do that. So there is the checkered flag for the practice session, and we'll be followed up by the qualifying session coming up in just a minute. So you can see some of those names to look out for. Would be fantastic. Everybody's enjoying themselves on the television. Thank you, everybody, for reaching a milestone of 1,000 subscribers. We're already over 1,000 at the moment, but it's been a pleasure for everybody to help support the JP broadcasting community, and obviously James will have to give us a food cast from his holiday in Spain. That's what's been promised on the 22nd of May when he goes to Spain. So at some point after that, we'll be looking forward to his first food cast, we'll call it. And then, yeah, as a little side bet that we did, he didn't think it was going to be possible, but hey, cannot deny the true lovers, enthusiasts of online motor racing esports, can you?
No, it's a large community, and there's a lot of power behind that as well. So putting up bets like that is, well, you've got quite a bit of nerve, I think. If that's something he's willing to put on the line, then on his head be it.
I believe that we had somebody want to have a bit of a chat to us, so we can do that during the qualifying if you like. It's up to you.
Yes,
Callum, you're the boss man.
If
you want to bring him in, we can have a bit of a yarn. It is media day.
Yeah. There we go. Just brought Sean Clark into the booth with us today. Sean, how's it going?
Hi, Callum. Yeah, all good, thank you.
Good, good. How are we feeling today? The
Yeah,
racing things.
very well lubricated for tonight.
Yeah. Have you had much practice on the track prior to this event today, or is it literally just the practice just before?
Well, Laguna Seca is the first track I ever raced at in iRacing about a year ago. So, yeah, I know it fairly well.
Okay, okay. What about the car? How do you feel about the car in general?
Yeah, this is one of the easier cars to drive. So, like the MX-5 is a starter car, which I started out in around here. But because of the traction control in this car, it's slightly easier to drive, especially around here. You get away with... I just lost it there. You get away with going off track a bit more. So yeah, it's quite a steady car.
So I've heard a few people mention how you can push this car a bit more than others, and it's a bit harder to get the back end out. Is that true?
It is. It's I would say this is probably the perfect car to drive if you've not really done any iRacing racing before. It's quite forgiving, but at the other end, it's very difficult to get the most out of it.
Racing. So, g'day, Sean. It's Dean Biggles, Biggles here. Would you see? I like how you're sporting the Ayrton Senna helmet there too as well.
Yep.
Would you seeing you're in the booth with us and you're actually driving around track? Would you like to give us a hot lap? So
Yeah,
it'd be possible.
go on then.
I mean, you've got a couple of laps up your sleeve
Here we
anyway.
go.
So, all right, go ahead.
So we go down to turn 1 here. The idea is to brake at the white line just there. And this is all theory, by the way. And then come in round the first apex, hit the second apex, and accelerate as fast as you can. Obviously faster than me. Brake and then accelerate, hit the apex here. And then we want to do straight, just slightly lift off for the apex there and accelerate out. And then as we come into this turn, we want second marker down here. Change down, and then we want to accelerate right up the hill. And this hill is quite crucial, so now we want one gear change up, just there. And then we like hit that apex, and ideally not go out as wide as that, which would help. And as we come up here, so we're looking for just after the 3 marker, we're going to brake, and then we're going to get down in the gear, turn it round, and we want the third tree is what we aim for. The third tree in your eye line, because you can't see nothing else. We just let off the accelerator there. Don't bother changing up. And then round here and accelerate as hard as we can. Just after the second marker, we're going to, and then into first. And then really hard accelerate up to the line. And then hopefully we put in a time that doesn't leave us last.
I don't think so. We'll have a look as that timing comes up in a second. And there it is, Mr. Sean. That's I think it should come up in the time aboard a second. I think it's a 30...
Oh, no. Look.
No, it's an invalidated lap, my friend.
Invalid. Where did I go off the track?
That's a good question, actually. That's one for Callum, Ed. What do you think, mate? A little off-track excursion that he had that didn't quite click the time up for Sean. Anyway, we'll let you focus, mate, for the next lap so you can get a flyer in without, well,
no, you're
properly,
okay.
if you want. That's up to you. It's no problem.
No, I'm good to go. I to be honest, I usually qualify near the back anyway, so it doesn't make much difference.
So I do have one final question for you, Sean.
Yeah, go on.
In these 2 races that are coming up now, what is your target position? What's your personal target position?
Ideally, I want to finish somewhere between, like, ideally I'd like to get 15th because that puts me on pole for the second race. Realistically, anywhere between 15th and 20th would be great for me.
15th to 20. I think that's more than doable for you. I really do.
It's to be honest, a lot of it is about not making mistakes.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, 100%. Well, we'll leave you to it. Wish you all the best. I appreciate you coming into the booth with us quickly before the race. I'm sure there'll be time to speak after as well. So I wish you all the best for these 2 races coming up, mate. And yeah, hopefully we get some good times on the board for you.
Cheers, guys.
Yeah,
Good
good
to
luck.
speak
Thank you,
to you.
bud.
Thank you.
Hopefully he doesn't have to come chat to us too if he DNFs. So, but we won't.
Cheers.
Yeah, see you, mate. We won't put the
Bye.
commentating curse on you. We'll wait till the official season starts, and then we'll start doing that. So we'll update the title out there too. This is not round. Well, it kind of is a round 1, but it is, as you said, it's a media day.
Yes.
No problem.
All right. Cheers, Sean. Appreciate
All the
it.
best. Catch
See
you
you
later.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah, so real quick out there, of course, the first rounds 1 and 2 will be starting on the 14th of May at Alton Park. Mr. Callum, another great track, isn't it?
That is. That's one of them tracks that I was just talking about where it can be a bit of a tricky track for overtaking because the track is a bit more narrower than what we're seeing here at Laguna. With Laguna being a bit more open and a bit more forgiving as well in terms of some off tracks. I feel like there is a few more risks you can take here, but I think the racing is going to be very tight at Alton Park, and it could. We're hoping for some clean racing, but I think it's going to be exhilarating stuff around there because of how tight the track is and how close these cars are actually going to be. Because there's quite a lot of room on this track for cars to spread out a bit more across the pack. So I think Alton Park's going to be very, very close, bumper to bumper stuff, hopefully. So I'm looking forward to that one.
Absolutely. Who just goes across the line? Richard Knight does. Carl, look, this is the final dying stages now in the qualifying. Mr. Carl Luckman, to put a time on the board there. Yes, he does. Goes up to P8. Joe Glass. He's just already crossed the line just before there. We're still waiting on Andy. Andy James Bostak and Krostic and Ryan Dudley as well too. So they're like drivers out there. Andy goes into P19. That's Andy Gonzalez.
Aha. I have
James
spotted the name.
Dan. Look at this. A couple of purple sectors here for the purple machine. What's pink, isn't it? Pink purple. What do you want to call it? Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'm going to go with pink on that one.
Yeah, look at that. Top of the timesheets. He likes pinks. It's a 36. Flat almost.
I have spotted the name of the third person that was given Mark Brown a bit of a run for his money on Thursday. If I'm not mistaken, it is Mr. Andy West, who I believe has had a bit of a rough outlap there, a bit of a rough first hot lap. But Mr. Andy West, who's currently P21, was the person that was given a bit of a run for his money towards Mark Brown on Thursday. So that was the third person that's very quick and was always seemed to be up there in terms of times consistently over the course of a race. So that's another name to look out for right there.
That's quite amazing considering the iRacing rating for Andy West is 335. I don't think that's going to be too correct on that. But
yeah, see, I noticed this Thursday and I did wonder about this. But to be fair, I mean, fair play. Fair play. He may just do league racing now, so it's hard to tell with the iRating numbers.
And that's it for our qualifying session. Strength for field at the moment for the iRating is about 1.5k on average.
We're already getting up onto the grid. First few cars there. Love the black and gold livery.
We'd like to read through our qualifying positions, please.
Yes, certainly will. So, starting off in P1, we have Dan Wareham, then Mark Brown following P2. To round off the podium positions so far, we have Neil Rocks, P3. Richard Fluidity looking to get onto the podium in P4. Then we have Sora Cardesla. Sorry if I've butchered that in P5. We have Sylvester, P6. Weber, P7. Carl Luckman, P8. Mark Proctor in P9, Kostrick P10, Dudley in P11, Joe Glass rounding off the top 12 there. Have we got any others? Is it just the top 12 grid?
It should scroll through. Perhaps it won't.
The perks are going live. Technical difficulties. Okay, right, that's fine. I'll do it from my side. So P13, I believe we have James Pallop. P14, Philip McConaughey. P15, Jordan Hadfield. 16th, James Bostock. 17th, Richard Knight. 18th, Stuart Brierley. 19th, David Smith, the man with the best selfie in the league. P20, Andy Gonzalez. P21, Andy West. We have then Aaron Kirby, P22, who's also a quick runner, so look forward to him going through the grid. Joe Willoughby, P23, P24, Sean Clark. And looks like we're already underway from a standing start. The lights have gone out and the cars are off straight away. Looks like Mark Brown's made an early get through past Neil Rocks. Neil Rocks had a bit of a slow start in there. Already cars going 3 wide into the first corner, as we are following Neil Rocks here from behind, side by side for P3 and P4. That's an interesting looking car with all the red on there, but I can tell you what, that's not all the red we see on the track at the minute. The P3 of Daniel Wareham, he's down 2 positions already. Not the best start for him. Looks like that someone's only just left the pits. That's Scott Kostrick, I just saw on the distance. He's only just come out the pits, so I'm not too sure what happened for his start there. Neil Rocks making his way into P2, or staying in P2, sorry, holding off that position, taking the inside line. This corner's going to be a bit interesting on the first couple of laps here, watching these cars go through, because if you go wide, it could be catastrophic. But it looks like so far the top runners have got through all clean as well, the grid being quite close together at the moment. There's already James Fletcher's up 9 positions down there in P17. Fantastic start from him. Carl Lukeman up 4 positions into P4. Hussein is in P5, who hasn't gone up, hasn't gone down. Johnston there up 6 positions at the back of the grid. Doesn't matter where you are on the grid, but he's making good positions so far. Up 7 now. There's a spin out there at the bottom of the chicane.
Yeah, it's Andy, I believe, that's had a little bit of a moment, unfortunately. Well, both Andys has. Andy West has crashed early in, but we'll keep an eye on this potential overtake here from Ryan. That's the 144 machine, and he's gone off a little bit. Swirly whirly coming out of the corner on that one. I think that might have been James Bostock, but really quick at the start of the race. Andy's had a little bit of a moment, so we'll have a look at that real quick. So this is Andy. That was just speaking to us before. I think he's a bit lonely out on track here, so something's happened a little bit earlier. Does it start?
Yeah, he's gone in a bit hot there on the corner, unfortunately. That's the only downfall. You try and trail brake in these cars as well, and that's going to send your race, well, send a spanner in the works for your race, really, and that could potentially ruin your race altogether. So trail braking is not the best in this car, and when you're going too hot, unfortunately, sometimes that's your only option. But these cars so far have had a pretty damn good start so far. James Fletcher's going down the grid positions at the minute, though. Johnston moving up once again into the top 20 now, P19. Fantastic start, first couple of laps really for him. Eugene Webber making the overtake into P6 now. See, coming up to the chicane, he's going to really have to pick a very good line to defend, because he's now got 2 cars coming up behind. Richard Flaherty's also looking at making a move up the inside there, but doesn't go for it in the end. Good option there, really safe option. Want to see all these cars get round to the finish line. So watching these all go around so far, Biggles, I mean, what do you think? I think it's been a pretty good start so far, and I think it's been fairly clean as well. Not much door bashing.
Absolutely fantastic. I will have to go back and show some of those moments of a couple of those drivers having a little bit of a spinneroo. This one's Philip. And what
up to the
I was going to say, I wouldn't want to be going side by side through there. It looks like might have just snapped a brake, and yeah, there's a little bit of a pusheroo between both those drivers. It's straight downhill, of course. One of the best parts, and see the driver can squeeze all the way through. He did certainly do a good job on that one.
Very good job. I will say respect to Philip there for giving the position back as well. He realised he made the mistake, and he let the car go through that he went into the back of. So big respect from the 2 drivers there. Fantastic to see. So well done, chaps, on track. Joe Glass, looking at him at the minute, 7 tenths behind Proctor in P9. Very nice looking livery, something different. Not that we always see that kind of style. The Benson Hedges car of Mark Proctor, car number 87 in P9. And then in a tight battle, got cars close in his mirror, also got a car just off the front of his bonnet. They're going side by side though, up into the sharp left-hander, almost 90-degree turn uphill this turn. So it's a very, very tricky turn to get correct, especially if you're battling side by side. It's not one that I'd want to go into fighting, but again, this is another corner you don't want to go into fighting either. As they go side by side towards the chicane, who's going to come out on top? It looks like Hussein's going to keep P5. Yep, he's going to keep P5 and sit right in the middle of a battle for three, between three cars there for a battle for P4.
Nice racing there. I was just about to say, well, if you wanted to try to pronounce Hussein's surname, we're going to have a bit of a yarn to him about that during the season, so we could probably get it right. You got any thoughts? I'm not going to attempt that. I'm the Biggles butchers of drivers' names, unfortunately.
I think I'm pretty sure his first name's not Hussein, but I keep calling him Hussein. But I think it's Sarikar Desla.
Oh, Sarikar. That sounds like it rolls off the tongue quite well. Here we go. But still, Dan and Neil are going for it tooth and nail on P2. Mark Brown's got a little bit of a lead, not that much of a comfortable lead, but still in the lead. As these two are battling it out, which will probably help Mark more than anything, isn't it? Because, you know, you want to have these drivers battle it, when they battle it out behind you or on the track. Generally, we'll scrub a little bit of speed.
Yeah, we did see this a bit Thursday when cars were battling. Mark Brown managed to get a huge lead. He got over a 20-second lead advantage on Thursday when two cars were battling behind him. So there's a huge advantage when you have cars battling behind you and in front of you, because you can really get some speed on these guys. With the track being so wide as well, while they're battling, you can get the perfect line to get right up behind someone or score the overtake. And that's one thing you've got to watch out for going wide there. Neil Rock's slightly off track. That's very, very risky. Taking a wide line through there. They're going to go side by side, heading up to the chicane. He's going to hold it. Don't wear him through into P2. Pushing Neil Rocks down into P3 now, but he's going to try and keep on the attack and put down Wareham into some pressurizing situations here. But more side by side, John Sylvester, is that Fluidity coming in behind as well? Yeah, so there's still a pack of 3 or 4 cars. I mean, tight battling once again. This is what we were seeing Thursday. It was incredible to see, and these drivers are perfecting it this week. Fantastic from them. So sort of from P11 upwards is all very tight at the minute as well. It's a bit spaced out further down the grid, but they're all still, like James Fletcher and Kostrick are going to be battling out fairly soon, I imagine, as well. There's only 5/10 split in those two. So, but look how close these cars are. Yes. It's incredible to see.
Yeah, you said this is probably what we're going to be expecting, and no doubt we're going to start seeing this all season long. This is media day too, so it's not round 1 in the description. We'll get that fixed. We got 2 media days at the same time next week for our second media day. Then the official race will be the following week after that. I love the Toto Wolff livery too, I believe. Is that on Ryan's car there? Yes, it is. Obviously, he's a Toto Wolff fan. It's got
yes, I do like that. No Mikey No is on the bonnet of that car, I believe, and that's a very nice livery. I do like that indeed. Mark Brown getting a second ahead now, but Ryan Dudley's got the pressure behind with a pack of 5 cars, really, 5-6 cars, all within close vicinity of each other. In fact, I'm counting 7 there. I tell a complete lie. I'm definitely counting 7 or so cars there. Looking moves up the inside though. At the moment, Sylvester gets in front of Ryan Dudley, but they're going to hold it side by side going into the chicane. What a camera angle this is as they go through. Still side by side. Incredible from those two. Oh, he holds it. The car of Toto Wolff holds it. Sylvester gets in front, but the battle's still going on. There you go. There's the off-camber that I was on about. There is the off-camber right there. As soon as you get off-camber, John Sylvester nearly lost it, but managed to hold it. Fantastic from those two, side by side all the way through there. They definitely have more nerve than what I do, that's for sure. And they're still going at it, and they're on the home straight. Oh, Sylvester's going wide, and Dudley's going to take the position back up into P6. We're only on lap 6 here, and there's still a lot more to come yet.
Exactly, too, with the reverse grid coming up to in our next heat. You're going to see. Good to see it. It's just a tiny little mistake, isn't it, when you go off the racing line there. You're scrubbing so much speed, as you're going to see this again. You can't afford to make any slight mistakes around it, because look at that. You got a pack of hungry cars ready to pounce on anything you do. So, going to feel the pressure, I'd imagine, if you are ahead of drivers in one of these tracks that, you don't want to be looking in your mirrors too much, but you're going to have to. Sean, unfortunately, I think might have had an off-track a moment. Let's have a look at Sean Clark. Now, Sean, currently at the moment, is about P20. If he was going 4 positions, and I think that might very well be it, unless he's got some dirt on his tyres and he has a spinneroo here, there.
Oh.
Yeah.
Very unfortunate. It looks like there's not major contact on the wall, though, so you should be able to carry on and just bring it home for race 1 and then go again in race 2. I mean, the main thing is to try and make sure all these cars get across the line at the very end, so that'll be the ultimate goal. But these cars are getting incredibly close. As you can see, there's only a couple of attempts splitting these cars up. Starting with John Sylvester out the front, with Joe Glass following closely behind, and Fluidity just behind that. Proctor sniffing, trying to get up the inside of some of these cars, but he's just out of shooting range, really. It's so close. These cars are like we had Sean in earlier. He's saying they're so good for beginners because look how close they can be as they go in side by side into the final turn. Coming up the home straight now, Fluidity is going to stick into P9, and Joe Glass is he's pulled away nearly a second ahead now. So it's really the battle between. Sorry, I got that completely wrong. I've read that completely wrong. You got Joe Glass is just under a second behind Sylvester, so he's trying to pull him back into the fight. This pack of three is between Richard Fluidity, Joe Glass and Mark Proctor. There's your three there. I have to admit, the livery of the century really between them three is the one in the middle. I really like that Fox car. Looks very nice through what I'm seeing here. I'm not sure if you're seeing the same thing, but that lime green livery is beautiful to see.
Yes, sir, I am. Challenge up for the lead now. So after Mark has done all that work, just like that, in a corner. And a bit of flashing there. Probably out of respect, I'd have to say that Mark Brown would have said, hey, mate, good job, Dan. Very good job. I didn't see any contact there. Good wheel-to-wheel racing. What do you think, Callum?
Yeah, Dan Ware, a very good racer, and seeing that and seeing no contact coming through there as well for any rejoins or anything. Great work between the two, but Mark Brown's not going to stop that from him pushing up more. There's a bit of the door kissing that I was on about that we saw Thursday, but it's not anything major. These cars are a bit forgiving when it comes to that, and I mean, these guys so far, these mid-pack runners, they've had well, sort of high mid-pack runners, they've had such a good race so far. There's so much action between them. I really hope that they're enjoying themselves out there, because I tell you what, we're enjoying it from up here in the booth, as there's a bit of contact there from John Sylvester. Yeah, he's going to lose a couple of positions, but he can still regain it. Now that's going to split the pack up a bit, and the two cars off ahead, they are now going to be flying away by the looks of things. I believe that's Ryan Dudley and Sarakar Desler. That's going to be a mouthful to say every time, but they looks like they're going to be zipping off. But Joe Glass is the light blue car just ahead of Sylvester here, but Sylvester's got to focus on defending before he can worry about attacking. I mean, all the grid has bunched up as well, because you look back at P13, Philip McConaughey, he's close to Stuart Brierley, Kostrick's just behind him. Then you've got a bit of a gap between Richard Knight. Then you've got the two Jameses currently battling out. You've got Fletcher and Pallett battling out at the moment as well. So the whole pack in general is really close, and I have to admit, this is a lot tighter than what it was on Thursday. This is fantastic. This is what we come for every Sunday. This kind of racing. It's fantastic to see.
This is Stuart at the moment. This is probably the first time we've had a look at Stuart. He's gone a little... Oh! I thought he's gone a little bit too deep into that corner. Lost that, and then unfortunately, he's come back onto the... Oh, does everybody else squeeze through there? Yes, they do. Good job there, Stuart, by staying just straight on the line there and not moving across there and potentially blocking those other cars coming through. And of course, who was that? I think that might have been Scott that he had contacted with.
Yeah, looked like Kostrick, because the comic livery.
Yeah. Well, that's nothing that he could do. And that one's just simple racing.
It's racing instant. Yep. It's unfortunate, but these things happen. And good thing is, it's only media day though. I will correct myself from the start. There aren't any points up for grabs, but they're going to be racing like there is, because this is the ultimate test really to see where you're going to be fighting for the season. This is an easy way to tell for these media days, and they always put on a fantastic show side by side. Coming into turn one straight away, we've got Proctor here and the Benson and Hedges trying to get up the inside there. Not too sure that that's going to work, Proctor, but he's got Glass right in front of him, and that's who he's looking to try and find the right line to go around. But he's got Fluidity sniffing up the backside of his Toyota as well, so he's going to be trying to get past and try and score, maybe do a Lewis Hamilton and get a double overtake when these guys are fighting around a corner. That's probably going to be his best bet, because on the straights they're pretty even, those three. But even looking down the grid here, like I was saying, James Fletcher leading a pack of 4 or 5 cars here, from James Fletcher and P14 all the way down to P18 of Scott Kostrick. They're all very close together, and there's a bit of a gap to John Johnston, but yeah, these cars have had fantastic racing so far. Proctor's still in the battle, still in the mix, and even the race up top as well. There's only 8, 9 tenths between the cars up there. It's just, there's so much going on, and this is a combination that I'm really starting to love. I didn't think it would be this tense in the first race of Media Day, but I have to admit, they've not let us down. So far, this has been worth getting up for. It's been fantastic to see. This is what we come here for every Sunday. Tanso Racing Group, fantastic place to start racing, no matter what your ability is, and yeah, seeing these guys go around is amazing.
What's happened to Andy Hiss as well? As we heard from
not turn one again.
Yeah.
Oh. Was Andy West the one that done it at the start as well?
Yeah, it was. I guess that's his Achilles heel corner.
Yeah. If that one, if you do come in a bit quickly, obviously off the home straight, it's difficult to get slowed down. If you miss your braking point, you do get a lot of back end happiness. What a move going up there on the inside.
All the way through? I think it was,
yeah,
right?
Scotty's gone as well.
I think.
Followed the move through. Stuart Briley led the way, and then Stuart opened up the pathway, and Scott said, "Thank you very much. I'll take that key," and slid right through that locked door there. So Richard Knight not able to hold off those positions, but he's going to be trying to attack back and get what he just lost.
Well, they might get a position up here soon, because David's had a moment. As this, you can see he's going way too quick into that corner, isn't it? Yes, there it is.
Yes, it's turn one again. Keep it, son. He's kept out of the wall. Well done. Well done.
And there'll be those drivers that we're looking at just before squeezing past there now. Well, that happened just before it's a replay, but yes. Unfortunately, there for David Smith to drop him down into P19 now. As we are
one of my favourite liveries out there in the pack today, I will say, Biggles, is one of Stuart Briley.
Yeah, the JPS.
Yeah. It's always nice to see one of them out there on track. Always nice.
There are some fantastic liveries. Hope everybody's having some fun watching this at the moment. Media Day here for the TRG. The Tanso Racing Group.
Now, we have spoken a lot about the cars that are out on track at the minute, but just to clear up for everyone at the moment in time, we've got David Smith, who is now out in P23, Luke in P24. He's in the pit, 7 laps down. Joe Willoughby, P25. Hamilton in P26 and Aaron Kirby, P27. All those, unfortunately, out at the moment as it stands. So we've lost a couple of cars, but it's gone a lot better than what I'd predicted so far, so it's been fantastic from these guys. And looking back up the pack now, Scott Kostrick in P15. There's not even a tenth between these cars. As you can see, they're kissing all the way down to turn 1. Make sure you get your braking points on, gents. Very clean through there. That's what we like to see. So the best time to make a move, if it was me, for Scott Kostrick, is between these next few turns before we get to that 90-degree left-hander that goes uphill. There's someone off track there on the right-hand side, so he can't go up the inside because he wanted to avoid the collision there, just in case there was any hint of contact between those two. But Kostrick's now got a bit of a gap, and this is the last turn before we have that 90-degree uphill, and that's the hardest place to either attack or defend, really. Because we've seen Mark Brown do it, who's leading the race. He's only got people in the mirrors, no one in front of him, and he's gone wide and unfortunately lost 2 positions from that one mistake. So we'll see what happens as Philip comes around said corner as we speak. And yeah, done that very clean. Scott Kostrick got through clean as well, hasn't lost any time, hasn't gained any time. So far these drivers are handling these corners very, very well. It'll be interesting to hear how they feel after the race. Bit of contact there.
Well, that's bumping and grinding as racing and driving, but maybe that's a little bit too much.
That is a little bit. Hopefully, Philip is hopefully he hasn't got too much whiplash after that, but
coming back to speed, but unfortunately, didn't get the right end of the stick on that play.
Couldn't see much damage on his vehicle either, so hopefully he's good to carry on and not have any performance issues there with that car. But on board now with Joe Glass, Mark Proctor 2 tenths behind him, followed by another 2 tenths of Richard Fluity. These three have been battling hard all race, and it's always been between these three. So it's something that I mentioned last season, where we do see packs of certain drivers week in, week out of very similar ability, and they're fighting like this throughout the season. It's really good to see, and I have to admit, props to all the drivers so far. We've seen some incredible stuff, but we're coming up. We're within the last minute, actually, because time has gone that quickly. We're in the 19th minute of 20.
Yep.
So we'll be coming up to the white flag lap here soon. Dan Wareham obviously in P1 at the minute, 1.8 seconds between him and second place. You can see on the track map there, they've just come over the start finish line, and they, I believe, should be on their white flag lap about now, if not this one, maybe the next one. But Mark Proctor's looking to go up the inside of the final turn. Not quite going to get it, unfortunately. Joe Glass is going to be able to hold on to that P8, but you've got Fluidity now coming up side by side with Proctor. Proctor's going to have to hold the outside line looking into turn one. As you can see, the white flag there being waved tremendously well on the start-finish line. But it looks like Proctor's going to jump down to 10th, lost 2 positions there on that straight, unfortunately, and that's the downfall. That turn going into the final straight, if that's a bad run out of there, then that could cost you big time, as Mark Proctor's found out the hard way, unfortunately. But one thing I will point out, James Fletcher is in P11. Bit of a gap between Proctor and James Fletcher, but he's up 15 positions. Fantastic race from him so far. Now, the leaders are coming into the chicane for the final time of race 1 for the media race, as we see Toto's livery going around there. There's Dan Wareham now. Here we go, like I said, coming through the chicane. Nice and smooth through there. He's going to be looking to keep it as smooth as possible in his last few turns. He's got a good 2-second gap. Just keep it steady, Dan, and this win is yours for the first one. Commentator's cars maybe a bit wide there. He manages to keep it very well.
Now, hang on, we're going to go back to this run battle real quick, and then we'll switch it over because, as you said...
Side by side. Oh, Toto trying to come through. Is he going to hold the outside line? And it looks like he's not going to get it, unfortunately. But Dan Wareham coming across the line, flashing his lights in P1, followed by Neil Rocks in P2. Mark Brown will round off the podium in P3 with Eugene Webber just missing out by 6/10 in P4. Then there's a bit of a gap till John Sylvester. John Sylvester's had a good race to finish P5 after a couple of little back-end happy moments earlier in the race, but these guys are going to be close because then P6, 3/10, Ryan Dudley, then a few seconds behind is Hussein, Joe Glass, Mark Proctor, Richard Fluidity rounding off the top 10 there. So that was a tense race between the top 10, that's for sure. And then from like P11 down, it got a bit more spread out, but they had their moments where they were really close as well. So we've had great racing all over the pack. I mean, I'm a bit out of breath watching this so far.
Yeah, you got one more to come, Tim, my friend.
Here we go. Drivers. James Fletcher,
but
James Pallett.
There's the man, of course, himself, and let's have a look at him in the helmet. Big smile on the face, no doubt, on that one. And it could really just, I mean, because you got to understand that Mark Brown, remember, was leading most of this race, and
yeah,
just like that, lost out of place. He did gain a place, obviously, and then dropped that one back to Neil Rocks.
See, it was that left-hander that I was speaking about, where it's almost 90 degrees, as you've just seen these cars go around there. It was just the corner right in front where Dan Wareham stopped, actually. The corner right in front of him is this almost 90 degrees left-hander. It's uphill, and if you go wide, you're off camber, and it sends you straight into the sand. And that's up the Rahal Straight. That's like the back straight of this track, and yeah, if you don't get a good run up there, especially being uphill, slight off track, your speed is killed big time. Because you're going uphill, and if you haven't got that traction, it's not going to be good for you.
Just wonder if there's contact between these two drivers before they did the checkered flag. Yes, it was. Anyway,
that was interesting.
Yes.
That looked like a bit of iRacing issues there, but still close between them two. But overall, I think race 1, fantastic start.
And the results should come up soon
for the season. This is going to be incredible.
So we got those results for you, but it is definitely broken for me today. There it is. Go ahead.
There we go. Right, so let's get through these as quick as possible while the cars are on their 5-minute warm-up. So we have Dan Wareham finishing the first race as your winner in P1, Neil Rocks P2, Mark Brown P3, rounding off the podium positions there. Eugene Webber, as you heard, finishing a few 6/10, I believe, behind Mark Brown in P4. John Sylvester P5, Ryan Dudley P6. You got Hussein P7. You got Joe Glass P8, Mark Proctor P9, Richard Flutie rounded off the top 10, James Fletcher P11, James Pallett P12, Scott Kostrick in P13, Stuart Briley, some fantastic racing for those guys out on track P14, Richard Knight P15, Jordan Hadfield P16, JT Johnston in P17, great race from him as well, James Bostock finishing just behind that in P18. There we go, right on cue. We have Philip McConaughey in P19, Andy Gonzalez P20, Sean Clark P21, Andy West P22, David Smith, the man with the best selfie in P23, Carl Lickman P24, Aaron Kirby P25, Joe Willoughby P26, and P27. You have Stephen Parker Hamilton. Well, fantastic race one so far, and this is only media day. Like I say, I correct myself from the start of the broadcast, but there's no points on the board, but these cars are still going to be pushing big time for this because it's not your typical Thursday where it's just practice. No, this will still mean something for these drivers. To get a win on media day will be fantastic, and Daniel Wareham's done just that. But remember, the race 2 is a reverse grid, so once these 5 minutes have lapsed, we then will have Richard Knight starting pole position with Stuart Brierley P2, Scott Kostrick P3, James Pallett P4, James Fletcher P5, Richard Flutie P6, Mark Proctor P7, Joe Glass P8, Usain will be P9, Ryan Dudley will be P10, and then from John Sylvester up, you've got P11, Sylvester, you've got Eugene P12, Mark Brown P13, Neil Rocks P14, Dan Wareham P15, and then you've got Jordan Hadfield and so on down the grid as normal. So the reverse grid is going to throw a spanner in the works for the quick guys out there on track, but out of the top 3 there, Dan Wareham, Neil Rocks and Mark Brown, who all had very good pace, all very close throughout the race. Unfortunate for Mark Brown with a slight off track there, but yeah, it's going to be interesting watching them guys trying to fight through the pack, especially of how close we saw some of these guys out on track. I mean, the battle between Stuart Brierley, Kostrick, and Richard Knight. I mean, those battles were incredible. Both the James Pallett and James Fletcher, both the Jameses were sort of chopping and changing between each other during that race. So it's going to be tense trying to fight between those cars that are already fighting to get up to those top podium spots. So I think there's going to be some interesting twists and turns during this second race, that's for sure. I mean, Biggles, what do you think so far? I mean, is there anything you're looking at, any drivers you're looking at in particular or looking forward to seeing in race 2?
All of them? Exactly. I'm looking forward to seeing how everybody's going to handle, obviously, the reverse grid scenario there. Slicing their way. We're just waiting, obviously, at the moment for at least the drivers to load in there so that we can actually get that grid up again that you just went through that we're going to have currently at the moment. I mean, good wheel-to-wheel racing. It's interesting to see. I'm not quite sure if there's any particular driver that I'm going to look at. See, there's only one driver at the moment just loading in here. That's Dan, the man that won the previous round.
I have to admit, I'm looking forward to seeing the guys that just finished in the podium spots. They're the ones that interest me the most at the moment. Because I'm interested to see, because they are fighting quite close as it is, with them 3 on their own at the top. How are they going to cope with other cars being around them while trying to get to the top? I'm not too sure how that'll work, because Mark Brown on Thursday, obviously, he done last to first, but there was a little incident that he managed to get around like 7 or so cars through one of the first couple of turns. So we'll see what happens there. So race 2 will be interesting as we see some of the cars
Is he
now
packing up in the pit lane.
the pits. Yeah, slightly. I think. I think he's just trying to have a chat there with.
Yeah.
I think I'm not too sure who that was. I can't remember now. I think it was is it Proctor? Maybe. No, it's not Proctor. But yeah, I think he's trying to have a chat or practice his starts for race 2, maybe, because I know there was a couple of people that did want to practice some starts at some point. So I think they're just getting. Yeah, it looks like a couple of practice starts there. I think that's what's going on here. Already got the checkered flag waving. There we go. The cars are going to be getting ready for race 2. So race 2 is going to be interesting, obviously, with the reverse grid. That's going to throw a spanner in the work for some of these cars, but harder work, better work is what I've heard some people say when it comes to reverse grid races. So I have to admit, I haven't got a driver I'm looking out for I want to win. I want to see every driver win this season at some point, but you can see all the cars getting ready there on track. Just got Biggles just sorting something out in the background for a minute or 2, but we've got some of the final drivers coming out into their position as the lights are up 5 red lights are on, and it's green, green, green. These cars are off. As soon as I can get Biggles to change this, we can get back to the normal screen. He's got a few issues, as you've heard at the start of the broadcast there. So unfortunate for us. We're kind of locked in position at this moment in time. See if can do anything about that. I'm not. And unfortunately, I'm not able to change that, so we'll have to make do for now. Not able to cover. There we go. Lovely jubbly. Scott Kostrick then in P2, Richard Knight in P1 so far. Apologies for the start, ladies and gentlemen. We will cover what we can from now, but Scott Kostrick holding off a pack, starting from him, going all the way down to P15. They're all very close together. James Fletcher losing a bit of time there, but on board with Richard Fluity, coming in side by side as the pack of 4 going into the chicane, holding the side by side, hopefully through the whole thing, and does so very cleanly. Well done between Mark Proctor and Fluity there. Fluity is now up to P7, but they're still going to keep fighting all the way down to the start-finish line. This is going to be some pretty tense stuff for the first lap as well, opening lap between these two. But this is the problem. Look, you can see the gap opening up just ahead of him because they're fighting as they're going in 2, nearly 3 wide up front. Oh, I think that's Mark Brown. Was that Richard? Sorry, yeah, that is Richard Knight. He's gone. I did just see Mark Brown's name somewhere up there. Yeah, already P3 for Mark Brown. This is one of the things that I mentioned he'd done Thursday. He got up there so quickly. So it's interesting to see. But look how tight these cars are. It's still, after 1 lap, how clean they've kept. We've had 1 spin out so far. Hopefully no context curse. Bit close there for Neil Rocks. But on board now with Mark Brown. As you can see, he's pushing Stuart Briley to try and get past, trying to put him under pressure. Trying to go up the outside line. That's not the line you want, Mark. You want to be getting on the inside. Oh, Stuart's cutting him off a bit. Yeah, there's going to be a bit of fisticuffs, I think, after this race, if these boys are going to stay like this throughout. Stuart's looking to cover off the inside line. Mark Brown's looking to get a better run on the outside to cut back. He's going to have the inside possibly coming up into... This is the dangerous turn, the 90 degrees left-hander uphill. If either of these get the run wrong... Oh, yeah, the bump sent Mark Brown wide. He's going to keep momentum. Well done, sir. Well done.
But Mark Brown just drops a couple of places as well, and that's with, so Joe goes through here. The camera picks up on the top of the hill here. Great racing as we'd expect. You kind of said, hey, you thought race 1 was exciting. Look at this. Come push him along, mate. Keep pushing him. Yeah, there you go.
Keep going. Wow. The start-finish line's around the corner.
Bridge out of the way.
Yeah, who put that there?
Yeah, get rid of that. There we go.
Unlucky, it's Stuart Briley and Mark Brown, actually, the two that were really close already, and it was just a bit too close in the end. Unfortunate for those two, obviously.
Is that...
That's Stuart going off.
Yep. That's not going to buff out.
Not the gorgeous livery.
It will buff back out as he gets through.
Oh, it will buff back out, yep. Instant repair, that's what we like to see. But yes, 3 wide into the chicane. What a risky move that was.
Yeah, just something you expect these drivers are going to take a little bit more risks like that on media day because you ain't got no points to lose. Having a little bit more fun. It seems like it's a lot of fun. I doubt a lot of these drivers at the moment are going to be like really upset or doing a no Mikey no Toto Wolff moment.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I believe we will have Mark Brown in the booth with us after the race as well, so I'll be keen to talk to him about that little situation there, but we'll focus on the racing for now. James Pallett is very close. They're side by side, actually. Both the Jameses look side by side coming into the corners there, and looks like Pallett's going to come out on top. He's only a couple of attempts behind Fletcher. He's going to come on top for Neil Rocks. So Neil Rocks is looking to push up, and he has done. He split up the 2 James cars right in between there of the white and red cars of both Jameses, and looks like Dan Wareham's also going to push through as well. Dan trying to get back up there to fight where he was in the original race. Dan Wareham and Neil Rocks both very close together. This has been an interesting push for the top 3 that I mentioned. Mark Brown obviously being a bit unfortunate, but Neil Rocks and Dan Wareham are already up into P5 and P6, so they're going to be looking at getting up there as soon as possible, and there's potential podium for both of them as the battle's still going on between Fluidity and Pallet. Bit of contact
James.
there. Looks like Fletcher's gone.
Yep.
Yeah, one of the Jameses has gone. Moser Racing livery is off track, and these cars going side by side through every corner pretty much on this track. Every corner you look at, there's always someone going side by side. So these guys are really putting everything they've got out on track, and that's great to see, because we're going to end this second race with every bit of blood, sweat and tears on that track from all these drivers by the looks of things. As you can see, people coming up the outside there of Richard Fluey. I think it's Joe Glass. Yes, that is trying to get the outside line through the turn 1 and 2 there, but doesn't quite pull off for him. As you can see, Joe Glass having to defend the inside line against Philip, but manages to do it quite successsually.
Somebody's off into the background as well too. I think that was
I recognise
Mark Brown.
Recognise that livery.
Yeah.
Oh no, Mark Brown's still going.
Yeah, you're right.
That is James Bostock, I believe. GP2.
Yep, there it is. You're correct.
That is, yeah, GP2 livery. Unfortunate for James Bostock there. Had a good race one. Him and John Johnston JT Johnson, sorry, those two in race one having a good little battle. So unfortunate for him there. But Philip McConaughey is going to have to do a bit of defending here coming up to the chicane. We've already seen one disaster here. Don't make it two, Philip. Let's try and get through here safely, side by side with Sylvester. Oh, bit of kissing. There we go, bit of retaliation. I think that's fair, to be fair, between the two drivers. But oh no, that wasn't low.
I shouldn't have switched away on that one. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
That's the second. That's bit of contact justice. We're gonna have to speak to these cameramen. At least it's a media day about getting those cameras sorted out, guys.
Yeah,
it's actually me on the cameras at the moment, so apologies about that. We got a replay system. I will go back in and show the replay of the start of the race. So a little apologies about that technical issue, but that's okay. It's a media day. It's not as bad as missing if it was race one. Real quick, I'm just trying to find a moment if we can go back and have a look at the race start. I think it might be now. Well, we haven't. The drivers give us a little bit of a pause, isn't it? So that's our race start.
Everyone.
Yeah.
Looks like a bad start actually from P1. There was no smoke from any of the tyres. Looks like a very slow, groggy start. But look, cars 3-4 wide there coming in towards turn 1. There's gaps. There you go, 4 wide into turn 1.
But they do file through there quite well, you'd have to say.
They do.
Yeah.
See, there's a little contact there, but nothing much. Nothing very impressive. I have to admit the awareness of these drivers was very good. But even though P1 got a bad start, manages to stay on top with Scott Kostrick and then Stuart Briley, who obviously had a bit of an incident recently, starting the race there in P3, managed to hold a position and all. So James Pallett, though, looking to try and get up either the inside or the outside, really, coming into the chicane. But either way, it's going to be dangerous, so don't go in side by side there, please. Whatever you do, thank God. He's going to get through nice and clean, sticking behind Richard Fluity. Only 8 tenths between the two cars, but also Richard Fluity's trying to attack Neil. No, sorry, not Neil Rocks. Neil Rocks is looking to attack Dan Wareham. But Ryan Dudley and
Scotty. Yep, this is a battle for the lead of the race currently at the moment. I just saw Ryan start put a bank of laps in. And it's paid off because now he's making a run for it. So the Total Wolf squad of Ryan Dudley has done it. They're going to make it stick too, mate. So just, trust in the stop pedal in your car. Hope it works.
Well, Ryan Dudley is, I'm sure, screaming and chanting towards the hills because he's now in the lead. His livery is going to change from no Mikey no to yes Mikey yes. That was so right. Getting the move perfectly down into first couple of turns there. 5 tenths now splitting between P1 and P2. He's going to look to try and get a gap as soon as possible because you've got the likes of Dan Wareham, Neil Rocks. They're battling out at the minute, but they're getting up there. You've got Hussein coming, making this pack of 4 interesting, trying to spice it up by taking a different line. They're all single file. Apart from him, he's the one that sticks out as looking to attack and defend at the same time. It's not a fun job when you're in the middle of the pack. I have to admit, I've been there multiple times myself, and it's not enjoyable whatsoever. He's going to have cars all in his mirrors, and he's obviously got these cars just ahead of him as they're looking a bit unstable there going into that left-hander for the light blue car just ahead of Joe Glass. So not overly confident looking at that car through there, but as they come into the chicane, everyone's still single file.
He's got his window down too for a little bit of air conditioning.
Well, I think you need it really in these cars, especially around this track. But then again, the temperature wasn't too hot as we saw earlier. It was only 20 odd degrees, so not too bad compared to some of the other we had last season. I think it was around Oran Raceway, Oran Park. We had I think it was 63 degrees. So that was that was interesting. So these cars have been through much worse conditions. But Dan Wareham's just posted a pink or purple, whichever one you like, lap time. He's gone the quickest now in the session. He's only 3/10 behind Mark Proctor, so he's going to be looking at that podium spot very, very soon. Hussein's going to come up the inside, or try to up the inside of turn 1. Not going to get it, but if he can keep the second part of turn 1 close to the 8, nah, he's lost it a little bit. He's going to have to do a bit of defending to Sylvester now, but the aim is that if you miss the first apex, always try and hit the second on those first 2 turns. Mark Proctor, though, looking like he's going to take the defensive line against Dan Wareham, but Dan Wareham's going to have the run. Look at the pace on Dan Wareham through that corner. Fantastic. Neil Rocks is going to take advantage as well and keep the fight between them two. Those two have had some fantastic racing. I think Proctor's realised that he's a bit slower and just rather let them two pass and not slow himself down too much. Don't go too far wide. Well done, sir. Keep it on the track. That's what we like to see. Trickiest corner, I'd argue. Oh, no, side-by-side Mark Brown here. Oh, they're both going to hold it. He's gone the bump slightly. Oh, it's gone again. It's the bump again for Mark Brown. It's that inside sausage curb.
Yeah, there are going to be some cars just behind their flying, so he goes off the racing line, thankfully. Waits to let everybody through, so he get T-boned at 200 miles an hour.
That was a different way to do it, but they're still pretty safe from Mark Brown, I have to say. But it's that sausage curve for Mark Brown every time so far. When he's got a good battle going on, it's that sausage curve that's letting him down. But look at the run Sylvester has on Glass there. Got the outside line, unfortunately. He wanted the inside, but not going to get it. Joe Glass does some good defending there. But again, he's got the run. Can he make it stick going into turn 1? They're going to probably hold it side by side all the way up to straight. No, Glass is going to have just enough to defend against Sylvester. Sylvester having a good night tonight. I've mentioned that name multiple times now, so these guys are having a really good race.
I'm trying to read what's in the back of the car there, because if we get close enough you could read it, but there's something in the back of Joe Glass's car. Something about toilet election, something.
We've got an economy in the toilet, and not too sure what that is there. We've got an economy in the toilet, a big election coming up. I can't.
Our priority. I think it said something about our priority should be making racing safer. Okay, here we go.
Oh, yeah. So we'll just go with that. That works. But yeah, these cars are keeping it close together, which is nice to see. Sylvester, he's finished reading the paragraph that's on the rear bumper there, and he's decided enough's enough, and he's going to try and make the move up the outside of a very risky corner, but makes it stick very well. Very, very good move there from John Sylvester.
You can read my bumper now.
Yeah, switching roles now. But look at that.
Webster as well.
Glass has lost another position. Eugene Webber's taken advantage and gone straight through. I do like the livery of Webber there. It does stick out quite nicely. Nice chrome on it. James Fletcher looking to hold the inside line there against JT Johnson. Johnson's had a fantastic night tonight, I have to say. Incredible racing from you, sir. Hopefully we can...
It's got a nice logo on the side of that car too.
Next week. Yeah, very nice. I think there was a little off track there. I saw a bit of smoke kicking up, but nothing major. I just seen Philip's name disappear off the grid. Oh no! We've lost Fletcher.
Oof.
We've lost. We got another car wide as well. Is that Mark Brown? I think that was Mark Brown going wide as well, but he held it. Fletcher's out now. Got a tow back to the pits. Hopefully it's not too long of a wait for the tow, but Mark Brown in P13 at the moment. Just behind him, obviously, we've got James Bostock a little while behind him, and then got some blue flagged cars just after Bostock there. But Sylvester P7, 2/10 behind James Pallett. Then you've got Eugene Webber 3/10 behind him, as they're basically bumper to bumper. Coming into the couple of left-handers here. Well, this will be the prime time to get the overtake up the hill. Get a good run up here, sir, and you will have that inside line into a tricky corner, but you nailed it last time. Can you do it again? Sylvester looking to make the move stick. They're side by side. He's got his nose in front. He's going to be able to hold it. Hopefully don't hit that curb. Oh, slightly did, but he managed to hold it quite well actually, and still pulling away. So great pace from Sylvester so far in race 2, much better than race 1. But down Wareham, as you can see, the battle between him and Scott Kostrick is still very close together. Ryan Dudley has a 6-second lead on P2 at the minute. But this is, again, another thing we mentioned. When these cars battle, you lose time a lot on this track. It's so costly when you battle for long periods of time. It makes great entertainment for us and those watching, but it really does hack down on your time. And Dan Wareham goes to make the move up the inside, leading into turn 1 and 2, looking to hopefully hold both the apexes and get a good run away and start trying to track down Ryan Dudley. He's managing to hold the inside line so far. I don't think Scott's going to be able to come back with this, but Neil Rocks is going to try and make the move. No, he's not going to be close enough to get up the inside. It's very tense between these guys so far. So Neil Rocks is going to want to keep the pressure on Wareham, and I think these guys will be the ones to watch for the next race as well, especially for next week, because their pace seems to be very good. I don't know if it's just this track or leading forward into the season, they're just going to be strong around most of these places. Maybe it's the car, but they seem to have gelled very well so far with this combination. It's great to see, but Neil Rocks is going to keep the pressure up on Scott Kostrick. Is Scott Kostrick going to be able to defend this position? If not, he's going to fall just outside the podium spaces. Dan Wareham now is closing the gap down. It's 5.7. There's 3/10 down, and we're just about halfway through a lap. So it's going to be possibly a tight finish, as Scott Kostrick's going to have to take the inside line and then jump to the outside, obviously on the chicane. They've held that both very well. Good respect between the drivers. Neil Rocks lets him go through. It's probably the safest option. Don't get off camber here. Whatever you do, you go wide. As you can see, Mark Proctor's gone a little wide there, but Neil Rocks has managed to get the position up into P3. Scott Kostrick, unfortunately, just fallen outside the podium spaces, but you can see him already going wide, trying to get the good run up the straight, because he knows how costly that can be if you get a better run. And he's managing to stick with him and possibly gain on him. No, yeah, he's gaining ever so slightly. Ever so slightly. He's got the smallest amount of gain, but as you can see there, the lap time is a little different.
Yeah, Mark just in the background. We're catching him because of this battle that's going on. It's helped Dan Wareham get up the road, but I think Ryan's just too far, isn't it? You'd have to be shaving about a lap out of that at this point with the dying stages of the race.
Yeah, I mean, Dan Wareham has knocked out a second to the leader, though. That's pretty impressive work, and that could shape up to be a tight ending. Pray and touch on wood that Ryan Dudley obviously gets around all safe to the end of the race. It looks like Proctor's had a bit of an off-track there. He's dropped down a little bit down the pack. I believe that's a blue flag car just behind him as well, so he's not under too much pressure.
Yeah, he went off track here. This is what happened with Mark. I think.
Yeah,
they're right there.
It's unfortunate. He had to take a wide line because he had a blue flag car up the inside of the corner there, so he had to take a bit of a wide line to get around safely, and unfortunately a bit too far wide. Again, slightly off camber, and that's it. Unfortunately, the car's gone. There's no redeeming that. Joe Glass and James Pallett, though, pretty damn close. It looks like Sylvester and Eugene Webber, the two cars ahead as well. They're in a close battle and all. It's all going on again.
I think Webber just got past, did he? Well, I'm mistaken. Was that
yeah, it looks like it, because he's gaining. He's gaining away. So
yeah, he did. He just passed. Great. He just passed it here, actually. That's because there was a little bit of a moment. Yeah. That's what happened with Sylvester, I think.
It's the off-track uphill.
Yeah.
Because it's what I said from the start, is if you get an off-track up that hill, it's deadly, because your speed's cut so much and you've got cars behind, they're just going to leapfrog you every single time. But Joe Glass keeping the gap within a second, though. It's a shame it's not F1, because he's within DRS range at the moment. But Scott,
open the rear wing, mate.
yeah, get that rear wing open. Get that Toyota buzzing. But it looks like Eugene Webber's actually just posted the quickest time, 1:36.
Because he's all alone, I think. Well, now he's got past, he could just get on with it, and that.
Yeah, a bit of a tow around that lap, but then his pace in this second race has been very good. I wonder if he was hiding something a bit from us in race 1 and trying to be a bit more of an underdog in race 2, but good racing from him so far. Same with Sylvester's had a good night, but slight off track there, manages to keep it though, luckily.
So here's Dan in the other similar livery, of course, with the Matrix. And he's got that 3.9, but that's just about a minute, not even that, isn't it? We should be very, very close to the white flag. There's Ryan.
I believe we'll be on white flag this time round. So this was about the same time we were last race. So Ryan Dudley's going to be looking at, as you can see there on the track map, coming up into second to last corner, the penultimate corner. And if he can just hold this gap for one more, I believe what should be one more lap, he will be your winner of race 2. Now, I've said enough about him winning the race, and Toto Wolf's face explains that he knows what the commentator's curse is all about. But it looks like Dan Wareham's had a wide line go through that corner, and it's up the gap again. So there's 4 seconds now between P1 and P2. So that's Ryan Dudley's going to be once again jumping for joy in his driving seat there. Oh, it's been a good push for Dan Wareham, but I think his luck might just run out. Looks like Neil Rock's maybe just outside of the time to push for P2, so he may have to try and defend against Kostrick, really. Those two are still quite tight for P3. That'll be the battle for the final step of the podium. P14, James Bostock, as you can see there on the map coming up to the chicane, he's a bit on his own, but he's going around nice and comfortably at the moment as well. Joe Glass, you can see 4 tenths between him and James Pallett there, just up ahead of him in the white and red car. Joe Glass is he's had a good race. His pace has been pretty good considering the amount of words and the weight he has to carry on that rear bumper from all that extra paint of that paragraph. So he's done pretty well, I have to say. Keep closing the gap as well. He was 4 tenths when I started talking, and while talking for England, he's closed that down to 3 tenths now, within 3 tenths. So he's going to be looking for a move up for the final 2 turns. But once again, your leader's coming up to the penultimate corner now. Ryan Dudley is looking to get his first win on media day number 1. As you can see him coming into the final turn, you are potentially looking at, by the looks of it, we'll wait till he gets on the straight for no commentator's curse. You can see the checkered flag there. There is your race winner in the Toyota GR86 Race 2 media day for the Tanso Racing Group. There he is, going across the line, taking P1. Well done, Ryan Dudley. Dan Wareham, good push for P2. Neil Rocks finishing in P3. Scott Kostrick coming across in P4. Mark Proctor flashing his lights in P5 there. All good racing from them. Eugene Webber, some fantastic pace there in the end, representing the USA, coming across in P6. John Sylvester flashing his lights there in P7. Joe Glass coming across in P8. James Pallett, P9. It looks like Hussein will be wrapping up the top 10. We'll wait for these last few cars to come across the line here now before we go through your grid for one final time tonight, because that is race 2. That is your final race of the media day. Now, hopefully, we possibly will have 1 or 2 drivers to talk to once we've gone through your grid for the final time here tonight. But yeah, Biggles, I mean, what do you think of the second race compared to the first?
Oh, it was spicy, wasn't it? It was really good. The elbows are out. I think as the drivers got a little bit more comfortable with the track after that first race, of course, a little bit of a warm-up, and then they got to, then they go, let's go. Let's go racing. Of course, they a little bit more bold and brave that you would be if what was the regular points race. And very, very entertaining, obviously. Kept us busy, kept us on our toes. Didn't have a chance to go through every single one of those incidents that occurred as well. And I do apologise about that race start, but we did kind of go over that again during it, and those results should come up in a second for you to go over from our second feature race.
Beautiful. So here we are then, Ryan Dudley taking the winner's spot on the podium there in P1. Dan Wareham with a fantastic push like we mentioned in P2. Neil Rocks again, quality pace. Car at 142 in P3. Scott Kostrick in P4. Unfortunately just losing out the podium then last few laps. Mark Proctor in P5, Eugene Webber P6, John Sylvester P7, James Pallett P8, Usain P9, Mark Brown finishing P10th, rounding up your top 10 right there. Andy West P11, JT Johnson, fantastic race from JT there as well, P12. Joe Glass finishing P13 with James Bostock in P14. Jordan Hadfield P15, Sean Clark P16, Andy Gonzalez P17, Trace Fletcher P18. And Philip McConaughey in P19, rounding off top 20 then is Richard for Liberty, Stuart Briley P21, Richard Knight P22. In 23rd we have David Smith, the man with the best selfie in the league. Carl Lukeman P24, Aaron Kirby. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like he got out for either race there tonight in P25. Same for Joe Willoughby P26, and same for Stephen Parker Hamilton, rounding off your grid there in P27. Overall, some fantastic racing, and there's definitely a few drivers I'm looking at there that are gonna, they're really gonna spice this league up, I think, going through the season. But because if you're happy with it, we do have a Mark Brown to talk to, actually.
Yeah, absolutely.
I will just pull him into the booth. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome on board here with us, Mark Brown. Mark, how's it going?
Not too bad, gentlemen. How's things?
Yeah, not bad, sir. Not bad. Now, we're going to get straight into it here. Race 1, obviously fantastic race for yourself.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad now.
Yeah, no, it was great racing for himself. Great pace. Obviously, when I watched you guys Thursday, some incredible work from you there Thursday, especially in your race 2, last to first. I have to say, congratulations, well done on that. But today, really good. But one key thing I'm sure you were probably expecting, there's one key thing I want to get into. Your fight with Stuart Brierley. There was some fire in that. Just talk us through that.
I don't know. Hey, it's a lot of. It's hard to say now. A lot of swerving now. Anywhere I went, he sort of moved out to it. But that was in the feature race or the second race after that was the second lap, wasn't it? But
I think it was about third or fourth lap. You were coming into where it really kicked off. You were coming into that chicane before the final couple of turns, and that's when there was a bit of T-bone in action because obviously his car just spun and you were stuck behind him. It was just before then we saw a bit of a door kissing, but that's the only thing.
It was a bit of aggressive, or what would you say? Defending, but it is what it is. First race was good. Now I enjoyed it. Now made a mistake to give Daniel the chance to get past, but no, it was okay. I raced on through then. From the feature race when I did go off, raced back up through the pack, and the level of the driving now is getting very good. And it was interesting now. So no, I enjoyed it. It was just it is a media race, so there's no points on the board. So, but it's good to have this, and it's good that to bring new people in, and give them the chance to race in a league, So
yeah, I mean, as a racer, who's obviously quite a lot within sort of the top 10 and definitely higher part of the table. I mean, does that fill you with confidence after today's media race? What thoughts go through your head looking forward to the rest of the season? I know we have one more media day before things really kick off, but does that kind of encourage you for what's to come? Is there any people that you're sort of looking at thinking, okay, I need to beat this person sort of regularly? Or
yeah, it's going to be very close at the top now with Daniel and Harry Fox. They're going to be hard to beat. It's going to be hard. I'd say I'll be happy with the top 3, in any race. But if I beat some of them boys, I'll be happy. So it should be interesting. The good thing about this league is you can find a battle through the pack. You're going to have your group at the top. You're going to have your middle, and there's going to be sort of gaggles of people. So you can get a good race. So it's good to have something like this here. So it is. With Tanso putting on. So I have to commend John now for the hard work they're putting in here, and it's good now. So it'll be an interesting season.
Yeah, looking forward to what's to come. We've got some, obviously Laguna Seca is a bit of a wider track. We've got some narrow tracks coming up, so it's really going to be interesting watching you and some of the other guys, especially whether it's at the top, in the middle of the pack, right at the back of the pack. There's not going to be many overtaking opportunities at some of these tracks coming up because they are a lot more narrower than what we've seen today at Laguna. So yeah, really looking forward to that race. And what are your thoughts in terms of more narrower tracks with these cars? We saw a bit of it last season. I mean, does this help, with Laguna being the first track in media day? Does that sort of help your confidence, or does that kind of put you off a little bit?
I think the whole idea of going to the narrower tracks is qualify high, get out in front, and try and get through it. You just take it as it comes. You have good days and bad days. Today, sure, I had an incident there, and sure, it is what it is. So, bit of fun.
Yeah, completely agree. I mean, Biggles, do you have any questions for Mark Brown at all?
No, I think you covered it all quite well.
Cool.
It's
awesome. Well,
so Legend 43 Racing, right? And just to verify that.
No, actually, it's not. It'll be changed because I'm teammates of Aaron Kirby, so it'll be Pro Sim Racing. So I actually haven't changed the ST.
Okay, that's
so
right.
I haven't.
That's
Pro
what we have
GTs.
media days for. You got
Yeah, I know.
a couple of weeks until we go racing and race one. Of
Yeah, I
course.
need to get. I got the livery sorted, so I'm a wee bit slow at times. Trying to get things set up, you know. Plus, I've new monitors coming and a new rig coming, so it's going to be.
Oh, can it be even quicker?
No, I wouldn't say so. It's not the equipment that makes you quick.
Yeah, true.
You know?
That's true. That's absolutely right,
But,
isn't it? Yeah.
But it should be a bit interesting, nice. So,
Well,
be a good test.
Mark, it was fantastic hearing from you. Once again, it was fantastic watching you race up there with the other guys today. Great pace. Is there anyone you want to shout out or anything you want to say, like your final words before we let you go here tonight?
Oh, just to John Johnson there for putting us on. Hey, as I said, it's good to have a league with a mix, you know, sort of a mixed variation of racers, you know. And I'm looking forward to the season. I'm looking forward to your streams and the commentary, and hopefully I'm looking forward to coming back into this booth and having a couple of conversations. Hopefully I'm up high enough for it. So,
Yeah, no, fingers crossed we won't give you too many commentators curse throughout the season.
No.
But, regardless where you are in the pack, I'm sure we'll speak to whoever's willing to
Speak for
come into the
yourself.
booth
I'm going
with
to be
us.
throwing those curses out too for now.
Oh yeah, hey, that's the whole idea for sure.
Yeah. You're right.
Mark, it has been an absolute pleasure, though, mate. I hope you have a good night, and look forward to seeing you again for Thursday's practice and next Sunday's races.
Yeah, looking forward to it, man, and cheers for it, and keep up the good work.
Thank you very much, Mark. You have a good night, and we'll see you again soon.
Good luck.
Thank you. All right.
Yes, Callum. Anybody, any of the other gladiators dare to step into the interview room?
Let's have a little look. Doesn't look like it.
They're a little shy. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's all we've got for now for this week. That is, yeah. That is going to round off the interviews then, people. As you can see there, the results are up on screen for the feature race. Some fantastic racing overall. Been from tonight from all the races, really, no matter where they are on the field. I have to admit, I'm going to put my hands up and say I'm really impressed with Johnson's racing tonight, to be fair, because last season I saw when I was seeing him, he was struggling a bit with the car, a bit further down the grid, whereas both races tonight he's been up there, but the pace in general from a lot of these races, just to name a couple, Eugene Weber, Sylvester having some good battles. You had Kostrick having some good racing out there. Even Stuart Briley, unfortunate on the instant, but even he was having some good racing and some fantastic livery ideas out there on track as well. So hopefully yourself and everyone at home enjoyed, but it's been fantastic tonight, I have to say. It's almost speechless from what I've seen so far.
Excellent. Thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in, and definitely be back for next week for the next media day. Same time, same network, same place. Everybody stay safe and have a good one.